Trust me when I say that this will be my most glowing review ever.
Told you.
What's going on, guys? Josh from SoccerReviewsForYou.com, bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the brand new Deadly Strike Pack colorway of the Adidas Nemeziz 17 Plus 360 Agility. Kind of a strange colorway of this shoe, but strangely, I really do like them. So we'll go over the details of this color, including all the glow-in-the-dark bits, which it looks like more of the shoe would glow than what actually does, but we'll talk about that in just a second. We'll talk a little bit about tech specs, performance features, and of course, take a look at how they fit and feel on feet. So if you're interested in learning more, please stick around, watch the entire video, and if you're interested in a pair for yourself, I'll leave a little pop-up on screen, or you can click the first link down below. That'll take you to the review page on my website, where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes, where you'll be able to get these below their normal $290 retail price. As extras, it comes in a fancy drawer-style box, and a string bag with the Nemeziz logo written out vertically, which is honestly a little bit difficult to read. Now, this is arguably one of the most unique colorways of the Nemeziz 17 Plus. That is kind of weird, but I also kind of like it. It's very tonal in terms of just being the same green in slightly different shades across the entire upper that still maintain the stripes and the Nemeziz branding that you would typically find on regular colorways of this particular shoe. It almost looks like the entire upper would glow in the dark, or at the very least the stripes themselves, just because it is that exact shade of glow in the dark material. However, the only part that does glow in the dark are the three stripes, as you can see here. The only real accent color you're gonna find on the upper is a darker green that you see here on the medial side with the 360 Agility Bandage branding, and then the Nemeziz logo right there on the back. There's also some green on the insole, but obviously you're not gonna see that while you're playing. And then the sole plate does have a wearable finish, this kind of matte, almost semi-metallic kind of color to it that I would almost describe as like a white gold with a greenish tinge to it. It's kind of an interesting color, and it doesn't really match perfectly with the rest of the upper, although from a distance, it does kind of look like a perfect match. However, this will chip away over time, and as far as what color is underneath this, maybe clear, maybe white, I'm not 100% sure, but as a whole, I actually think that this colorway is pretty cool. If you're looking for something unique, I definitely think that there's a lot to like about this particular Deadly Strike colorway, but let me know your thoughts on it down below in the comments. Do you love them? Do you hate them? Why or why not? Now, if you regularly watch my channel, then you know that from a performance standpoint, I'm not a huge fan of the whole laceless thing from Adidas at the moment. That's not to say that these aren't capable performers in terms of what they have on offer as a high-end shoe, but I really do feel that if you're looking for the best value for money, and honestly the best fit, feel, and overall performance, you would be better off going for the cheaper Nemeziz 17.1. My issue with the laceless system, simply put, is that because this laceless system is elasticated, which it needs to be in order to be able to get your foot in and out of the shoe, when you're actually wearing them upon more intense movements, whether that's a quick change of direction or even a plant for a strike, this material is still going to stretch. So you're gonna have a loss of lockdown that if laces were there holding everything in place with a knot at the top, it simply would not be a problem. Again, some people like the whole laceless thing in terms of how it feels. They don't mind having that little bit of movement inside of the shoe, but ultimately it really does come down to personal preference. From a technical standpoint, the upper of the Nemeziz is made up of three separate elements: Agility Knit 2.0, Torsion Tapes, and then Agility Bandages. So the Agility Knit is what you're gonna have here at the front. You can actually see it does have a translucent polyurethane top layer where you can see the mesh underneath. It's a very thin mesh layer, basically providing somewhat of a barefoot feel. You also have that same material at the very back of the heel. However, that's backed by an internal plastic heel counter, so that really has no impact on touch. This, however, does feel quite good, and it is an improvement over the original variation of Agility Knit that we got originally on the Nemeziz 16 Plus and the Nemeziz 16.1, but you can also get that original Agility Knit 1.0 on the messy variation of the current Nemeziz. I know that sounds confusing, but they do make two versions of this material. I prefer this one over the messy variation. Then you have these torsion tapes, which are basically tape, or it's called tape, but it's not actually tape, but these kind of bandage, they're not bandages, those are bandages, but essentially these bands that run like this across the forefoot and then run basically through the midfoot and then back around the heel. That is there for the sake of security. This part of the upper is not supposed to stretch, and you'll get both of these same elements on the 17 Plus as well as the 17.1. The difference between the 17 Plus and the 17.1 is basically going to come in this part across the top of the foot. Normally it'd be made from a standard elasticated material on the 17.1, just because it doesn't need to be anything structured because you have a lacing system in place to hold everything there. But because this is laceless, you have the 360 degree agility bandage system, which is basically these elasticated bands that run across the top of the foot, and it really is only one single layer of these bands. There's a slight overlap right here, but it's very, very small, and it's basically just stretchy material across the top of the foot. Not a lot of extra bulk, really not too much there at all. So in terms of touch on the ball, very, very clean because you don't have any extra material there. But again, as far as lockdown is concerned, this material will stretch as you wear them, and how this actually impacts the fit of the shoe, that's something we'll talk about a little bit later in the video, because with any laceless product, you're unable to adjust it. So it's something that you do kind of have to get used to, and it will work with some people's feet better than others. For some people, you'll get a perfect fit. For others, it just won't fit very well at all. As far as the collar is concerned, some people consider this to be a mid-cut. I really don't. Kind of got this unusual wedge shape, which honestly, that's not really an issue as far as discomfort is concerned. Comes up a little bit higher at the front, but it's also fairly high across the back. So typically a complaint with the Nemeziz 17.1 and 17 Plus for the first couple of wears is that people do end up getting a blister on the back of their Achilles right here at the very top bit, where it extends a little bit higher than a normal soccer cleat would, low cut or mid cut. It's just kind of a chafing spot that is fairly unavoidable. If you get the blister, once it heals, it's unlikely to bother you anymore, but it is something to be aware of with this particular design. Internally, it has a nice synthetic suede liner. It's kind of like a suede. I guess that's how you would describe it. It's got a good amount of padding, really, really nice heel liner. I actually quite like it. The insole, fully removable. It features a kind of synthetic suede lining on top. It's very, very soft material, some perforations throughout, and it's just a single layer of this white foam. Honestly, nothing too fancy whatsoever. And as far as the sole plate is concerned, this is what they call their torsion frame, which is basically a variation of the sprint frame. It's got good flexibility to it, definitely gets softer as you wear it in. And as far as the stud pattern is concerned, it is their typical FG-AG layout, where the studs this time, they're in the same position, but they're made out of this basically kind of like a half circle shape, I guess is the best way to describe it. I would go as far as to say that out of all the current stud patterns on offer from Adidas, this one is arguably the most aggressive, but again, the difference between the Nemeziz and the Predators and the X's in regards to overall traction, I don't find to be all that significant at all, but it does work well, it does get the job done, and the fact that you can use these on firm natural grass and artificial grass playing surfaces is a definite plus. As far as weight is concerned, in a size 9 US, these guys weigh in at 7.3 ounces, which is about on par with most other top-end models out there, including the ones currently on offer from the Adidas brand. It's certainly not the lightest shoe you can buy, but they won't feel heavy on your feet either. Now, out of all the laceless boots to ever come out, the Nemeziz 17 Plus is probably the easiest to put on, mainly because it's a low-cut shoe, so you don't have to get your foot through a collar before trying to actually slide them on your feet. Now, of course, there's nothing to adjust because they are laceless, but this is all pretty stretchy. So what I like to do is basically support the back with one thumb and then kind of stretch out the top part with the other thumb, make the opening as big as possible, kind of get my foot in sideways like this. And then once it's in, I kind of like to hold this back piece, just support it so I'm not stepping on the structure. And then again, stretch out this front part and then just kind of slide my foot in. And it's really that simple. From there, you'll kind of have to adjust this front piece so it doesn't kind of fold in on itself, but that's about it. Once they're on, that's how they fit. There's nothing to adjust. On feet, the Nemeziz 17 Plus is pretty comfortable out of the box, but I think you can say that about most of the laceless stuff from Adidas. Not too many people are gonna put them on and think that they feel bad. And I would say out of all the laceless boots out there right now, the Nemeziz actually fit my feet the best. And that's something that's really key in terms of noting with laceless shoes in general, is that because there is no level of adjustability, once you put them on, that's the way that they fit. Some will fit better than others. So you might really want the Nemeziz, but you fit better in the Predator, or you might really want the Predator, but you fit better in the Nemeziz. For me, I fit much better and more securely inside of the Nemeziz, but that's not to say that it still doesn't have that kind of more secure sensation, just because again, across the top of the foot, it's fully elasticated. So upon more intense movements, even just moving like this, I can feel my heel wanting to come outside of the shoe, which is not an issue with the 17.1 that has the lacing system, because I can actually lock my foot in place and kind of push it into the base of the sole. So that's something to be aware of with any laceless boot, not just the 17 Plus. It's not a bad thing, but they certainly aren't for everybody. As far as the overall fit and comfort is concerned, the upper as a whole feels really, really nice. It's soft, flexible materials. The only issue that I have with this shoe and the 17.1 is that this back piece, like I mentioned earlier, does come up a little bit higher than normal. So it's very, very common to get blisters right here at the top where it kind of chafes on your Achilles tendon. Not a huge deal, but something that you more than likely will have to deal with this particular shoe during the break-in process. As far as width is concerned, it's got a snug fit, but I definitely wouldn't say that they're overly narrow. As long as you don't have super wide feet, I think these will fit you quite comfortably. And as far as the sizing is concerned, I'm wearing my usual size 9 US here, and fit and length is absolutely perfect. So if you are looking to order a pair for yourself, I would strongly recommend going true to size in order to achieve the best possible fit. Anyways, guys, that is it for my review of the Deadly Strike Adidas Nemeziz 17 Plus 360 Agility. Again, if you're interested in a pair for yourself, you can click the first link down below. That'll take you to the review page on my website, where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes, where you'll be able to pick these up below their normal $290 retail price. If you have any questions, as always, leave them down below in the comments, and I'll do my best to get an answer out to you as soon as I possibly can. If you enjoyed the video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information linked down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks for watching.